Good afternoon. Welcome to the Afternoon Experiment. My name is Emanuel Livingston. I'm glad you decided to join me. See, I got my chipper voice on. I'm trying to sound, excited. But it's crazy stuff going on all over the place in the news and all of that good stuff. And we're going to get into some of it. We might do some constitutional reading today. Among all the other things that we got going on. But of course, got to start off the show by saying hello to everybody. See, the sooner that I say the hellos, the sooner that I get done with the hellos. Because if you don't get in, really by the time I finish saying hello, I don't really get opportunity to, if I just see it pop up and it catches my eye, then I'll, probably shout you out or whatever. But pretty much once it's done, it's done. So you got to get in here early and say your hello to me so I can say my hello to you and, we can get it going. So let's get it started. Let me see. Robert Willis, first out the gate. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon. Anthony Prosser, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Dina Johnson, good afternoon. Carolyn Smith, good afternoon. And rounding out the top five, Erica Hummins, representing Reading. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you guys for checking out the show. I appreciate you very much. Let's keep it going. Drea, good afternoon. Drea is representing Sycamore Township. Carolyn Smith, good afternoon. I already said Carolyn. But good afternoon, Carolyn. Crystal Hoskins, good afternoon. Appreciate you. Dina says she's representing Walnut Hills. All right. Thank you. Crystal Hoskins says she's representing the Christ Hospital. All right. Jerica Vaughn. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. P. Copenhaver 43 over there on Twitch. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Hold on. I got to look and see how many of the people watching over on Twitch. Oh, P. Copenhaver, you're the only one. You should invite your friends. Good afternoon. I appreciate you. Lonzo Clark. Good afternoon. Lonzo hopes everything is well with me. It is. And I hope everything is well with you and your family as well. Sierra Brooks in the afternoon. Sierra, thank you for checking us out and good afternoon. We got Daryl Carpenter, good afternoon, representing Forest Park. Thank you for checking us out. Mike D. Ballard Sr., representing Woodlawn. Good afternoon. Yo Underwood in the house. Good afternoon. He's representing Miss Brenda Early's kitchen today. All right. Y'all in there cooking it up. Can't beat that. Steban Speed in the house representing Westwood. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Regina Denson Griffin representing Claremont County. Good afternoon to you. Thank you for checking out the show. Ibadathia, say what up? What up? What's up? Hope you feel good. Jacqueline Carter representing Evanston. Good afternoon, Jacqueline Carter. Thank you for checking out the show. Lamont Jones representing Westwood. Good afternoon, Lamont Jones. I appreciate you. All right, and that's it. That's all the hellos so far today. See, I get them started soon. Get them over. Now people will be getting in here and they'll be saying hello. I won't see it, but you guys, please, be hospitable. Act like you got some home training. All right? Somebody come in and say hello back. All right? Also Al Johnson, Middletown. Al Johnson's representing Middletown. Good afternoon, Al Johnson. All right. Look like what the big thing is. It was a fight at another graduation. And let me say this. I don't think people should be fighting at graduations, on the street, in their house. Just, you know what I'm saying? If it's not a sporting event, I don't think you should be fighting. Of course, unless you're defending yourself, which, then people shouldn't be putting you in a position to defend yourself. So I'm not saying that that's good. It's bad. It's bad. I would love one day to just be able to have this conversation, but it keep happening. And I thought it was going to be good. Like I turned on the radio this morning. Well, I turned on went to my Facebook page. And I heard, oh, it's another fight, and what can we do? And, how can we stop this from happening? And I was 100% on board with that conversation, because that's the conversation that should be happening surrounding people fighting at graduations. That's the conversations that should be happening. What can we do to stop this from happening? Because it's not good. People should not be fighting at graduations. I agree with that 100%. But eventually it turned into, why can't we go nowhere and not fight? And y'all know when people say that, I have to speak up. I have to speak up and say, we can. We can. And look, I don't know the graduation schedule, but I imagine there's been, even in Cincinnati, I can't say 100% certainty because I don't know the schedule. I don't know if all the schools have graduated or what, but I imagine a predominantly black school in the Cincinnati area has had a graduation and no fights broke out. Nobody want to talk about that, though. Well, that don't make news, Emanuel. Right, but that should stop you from saying we can't get together and not fight. Because clearly we can. We do it on a regular basis. But today, I'm not even going to necessarily get bogged down in that. I'm going to just say that the people who are saying that we can't, they hate themselves if they're black. If you are a black person and you keep saying black people can't get together and not fight, you hate black people. And something bad should happen to you. And hopefully it's a white person that do it. But, all right, so people are fighting at graduations. And they seem to be predominantly black people fighting at these graduations at these predominantly black schools. And you have to think, what can you do to stop this from happening? I've heard some people say nonsense like make them dress up. Like, I done seen church fights. People all suited with hats on, everything, and they still fight. To me, that's stupid. That's the stupid solution to me. Now, it doesn't mean if that's your solution that you're stupid. It just means from my perspective, you're not thinking clearly on this subject and you're coming up with stupid solutions. But yeah, oh no, the way they dressed, they ain't dressed right. Maybe if they had on suits. If everybody had to dress up, there wouldn't be no fighting. It's not the solution. Look, if you want to create a dress code, I'm not necessarily against a dress code, but don't think that just having a dress code is going to stop people from fighting. Look, I don't know what the people fighting over. I could imagine some people just fighting over seats. I could imagine it's people fighting over seats, right? Y'all know how people do. Sometimes people get there and they try to put their coat on and oh no, it's me. My daughter is showing up and my son, and then his 2 kids is showing up, and then my sister, and we all want to see my other daughter graduate. So I gotta save these 9 seats for my family. And then somebody come in like, oh, ain't hardly no seats. Oh, I can sit right here. No, these seats is taken. What you mean these seats is taken? These seats ain't taken. I can sit wherever I want to sit. No, you ain't, and then all hell break loose. I could imagine that happening. I'm not saying that is what happened. But in order to know how to stop the fighting, it kind of helps to know, why are they fighting? That'd be helpful. Why did the fight start? But I mean, for real, I could see that being the case. Mary says, you step on a foot, we will fight. I could see, just, I use the term home training. I don't even know if people have home training anymore. All home training is, to me, it's just learning how to interact. This is to me. Now, everybody's definition ain't gonna be the same. My definition is at home, you learn manners. You learn how to talk to people. You learn how to interact with people that are not necessarily in your home. But things happen at home that teach you those lessons. So then when you go out into the world, all right. So then when you go out into the world, you seem like you got some sense. Because you're polite enough to people. Like, you know what I'm saying? You ain't got to be D-riding nobody. I'm sorry. You ain't got to be D-riding nobody. But just being polite is just that. You know, like even in today's society, please and thank you ain't even necessary. Just a somewhat polite tone of voice. So that's enough for today. Like, you don't have to, excuse me, is anyone sitting here? Would you mind if I have this seat? You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to do all of that stuff nowadays. Just a simple, are those seats taken? All right. That's good for most people. That's good enough for most people. Like, you know, I kind of think of it as formal home training and not so formal home training. Anybody sitting there? Not so formal home training. Move, I'm trying to sit down. No home training. You know what I'm saying? No home training. You see somebody trying to squeeze in, you either stand up, because you know them seats be folding back, which I don't remember the seats over at UC, but you know, you kind of stand up, let the seat fold up behind you, scoot back, you let them in. The person trying to get in says, excuse me, and then you, boom, and you let them get by. Those two people exhibited some home training. It's not always the way it happened, though. Somebody see you sitting there, they don't even say excuse me, because they feel like you should see me getting in and you should move. But then they don't say nothing, so you like, they see me sitting here, they don't know how to say excuse me, and so now you got a potential fight. I didn't say excuse me, and because I didn't say excuse me, you ain't gonna get up and let me in. Now it's, you don't see me trying to get in. I see you trying to get in. You don't know how to say excuse me. I ain't got to say excuse me to you. Who are you that to say excuse me? You might have a fight. Some of this stuff is simple home training. Probably. Again, I don't know what the fighting was about. But I could imagine some of it just being home training. But I don't know what we do to stop people fighting at graduations. I don't. I genuinely don't. Again, I'm going to reiterate, because a small group of black people have a fight at a graduation, that don't mean that black people don't know how to go nowhere and not fight. Like I posted on the blame bad behavior, but don't try to make bad behavior black behavior. That's bad behavior. So I don't know what the issue is. I don't know what the issue is. But those people need to be dealt with. Those people need to be dealt with. Again, kind of the overarching theme here in this portion of the conversation is stop trying to make a few people's bad behavior all black people's behavior. If you do that, you hate yourself if you're black. Vernon, who I got into it with a little earlier today, and I was a little rude. Like, I was a little over the top with Vernon, so I had to apologize. Because, I say stuff like thoughts come into my mind, and you don't have to say every thought that come into your mind. And I said something about Vernon that I can't say I know it's not true, but I just assume it's not true. But as my mama used to say, you like the way them words taste in your mouth. You know what I'm saying? And so I said it, and then I apologized. And I again, openly apologized. It was a low blow and not necessary. Vernon says, I've probably been to over 20 CPS graduations in my life. I've never seen even a hint of a fight getting started. I've had people get up and come back multiple times to their seats, and each time it was a polite encounter. There's something new that's going on with the stuff this year, and it needs to stop. I reject that it's new. Fights have happened at graduations before. I've been to graduations and I've seen little skirmishes. And I ain't seen like no full all-out brawl, but I've been to graduations where black people were there, and I've seen little skirmishes. People ain't gonna like this. I know some of y'all hate when I say that. People ain't gonna like this, but I've been to graduations where it was predominantly white people and skirmishes broke out too. Just little hollering, screaming, pushing. Again, not a full-out brawl. I've seen white people do it. I've seen black people do it. I was at what is that? I guess a Catholic, because they did a mass. They did a mass at one of the graduations that I went to, and a little skirmish broke out. It was a Catholic high school. So it's not just black people. Now, no, it did make the news. Again, it wasn't a big brawl. But this ain't new. I'm sorry, Janice. This is not something new. So stop thinking that it's new. It's not. Who are y'all people that ain't never seen this stuff before? Who are y'all? I mean, I feel good for y'all. I'm happy that you guys have never seen these things before. But actually, that kind of goes to my point that it's not as prevalent as people who say stuff like, black people can't go nowhere without fighting. It's not as prevalent as those people would have you believe. Now, I will say this, because some stuff is just a fact. Some stuff is just a fact. I guess technically this ain't a fact. This is more anecdotal. But it does seem like society is getting a lot more aggressive. Black people, white people, Asian people. I be seeing Asian people. I be seeing Asian fight videos. And I be surprised because they're not doing karate. I be seeing Asian people fighting too. So just society is getting a lot more aggressive. So where what maybe used to be, a little disturbance, instead of excuse me, a little looking at each other, maybe a little raised voice, because society is becoming a little more aggressive, that might turn into a fight. A classy one is trying to bait me. Some of y'all can't see this. Talking about it's very prevalent. Black people don't know how to act in public. Okay, I'm sorry. You can't bait me into rage. I said what I had to say about that. You can say everything you want to say. Like Blade was on talking about the animals. I'm sorry, you're not gonna rage bait me. I'm just being honest. If you're a person who just decides, I want to be obtuse and offensive, go for it. Be obtuse and offensive, and I hope you feel good about it. But yeah, no, this stuff, it happens. It's not good. I'm not saying any of it is good. It's bad and it needs to be dealt with. But I don't know how you deal with it. How do you stop something that you don't know is gonna happen? Like maybe if they own, chat boards or, whatever, message boards or whatever. Do message boards still exist? Maybe if they're on like Facebook or Instagram or, any of the social media and they're talking about, hey, we gonna fight at the graduation. Okay, you might be able to stop that. But chances are, whatever things have happened were kind of spur of the moment things. And I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how to answer. But it something needs to be done to the people who do that way. Because I believe in, you try to set an example, be it good or bad. So if you fight at a graduation ceremony, and cause that kind of disruption, yeah, you get locked up. You get some charges. People need to, in this particular case, I guess CPS needs to make it known it's unacceptable and we will prosecute you. Hopefully, the prosecutor will prosecute you to the fullest extent of the law. Something has to be done. Something has to be done. But again, I still think you have to know why people are fighting. But I mean, other than that, I would say, why don't like CPS schools have their graduations in like on the football field? Like they got that football field down at Taft. Don't that hold a good amount of people? You could hold a graduation there. I've been to the Catholic school that I was talking about. You know where that graduation was? On their football field. Mount Healthy, I've been to a few graduations over there. You know where they have theirs? On their football field. I've been to a number of graduations that happen just at the football field. Just at the football field. They get them out there on the grass. They put seats out there. The graduates sit out there on the grass. The people who are watching, they watch from the stands. They do what they do. And then that's that. And I don't imagine that costs a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? It's your football field. You ain't got to rent it. I imagine that would save them some money. So that sound crazy to some of y'all, but I'm in favor of not having graduations at Fifth Third Bank Arena or at the Centos Center or whatever. Just take it to the football field. Just take it to the football field. Save some money. Because I imagine they had to pay like Centos and UC and Xavier and UC and all that kind of stuff. I imagine they had to pay them money. Do it relatively free. Yeah, CK, the lines ain't open yet. Hold on, let me take this down. Cause yeah, the lines ain't open yet. Hold on. People calling me. I just got real popular real quick. Yeah, the lines aren't open yet. I'll open them up shortly. Vernon says the problem with saying something is not a big deal. The problem with saying something is not a big deal because only a few people are actually doing the bad stuff is that they end up messing things up for everyone and they don't really care because it's what they wanted anyway. First, who said it wasn't a big deal? I didn't hear anyone say it wasn't a big deal. I didn't say it wasn't a big deal. I said it's bad and it needs to be handled. It needs to be, those people need to be dealt with to the fullest extent of the law. Sometimes I don't know what y'all hear. if you're saying, me saying, their bad behavior is not black behavior, it's bad behavior, and don't apply their behavior to all black people, if that goes in one ear and it translates, oh, this ain't no big deal, that's your problem. I never said it wasn't a big deal. And I don't think that their goal, I don't know them, but I don't think their goal is, ooh, I want to mess it up for everybody. I think they probably just go in to watch a graduation, and then something happens that doesn't necessarily have to rise to the level of a fight, but because people, as they say, be on 10 all the time, something very minor happens, and then boom, everybody is on 10 and they fighting. By everybody, I mean everybody potentially involved in that situation, not everybody in the venue. I don't think anybody go in thinking, and it's possible, everything's possible, I guess. I don't think anyone goes into a graduation thinking, you know what? I think I want to mess this up for everybody next year. So I think I'm going to start a fight. And then this school, from now till eternity, will never be allowed to have another graduation in this building. Yeah, that's my plan. I'm going to get them. I don't think that that's the way that happens. I genuinely don't. Andrew says, Withrow used to, but I think they changed because of possible bad weather. Maybe they should look at changing back. Maybe they should look at changing back. I mean, like I said, other schools do it. A number of other schools do it, bad weather and all. So somehow they find a way to figure it out. LaDon says they used to have them at Music Hall. I remember when they would have them at Music Hall. Shire says, will it be covered on the football field in case the weather is bad? I don't know. Ask Mount Healthy, what do they do? Because I haven't been in, it's probably been about 5 years. I haven't been to Mount Healthy's graduation in the past 5 years. So they may have changed it, but they were having theirs outside every year. What did they do when the weather was bad? I don't know. Because, of course, all the ones I went to, the weather wasn't bad. So they have to have some sort of contingency plan, I'm sure. But what it is, I don't know. But I don't know. CPS, they got phones. They can call Mount Healthy and say, hey, I heard y'all have graduations outside. What do y'all do if it's raining? And then they'd be like, we move it into the gym. I never thought about that. We could move it into a gym. Wow. Yeah, that would be great. I mean, I don't know if that's what they do, but it don't seem like that hard of a thing to figure out. Darnell, another one. Sound good till it's pouring down rain. Again, call Mount Healthy. Y'all be making some of these problems sound like the biggest problems in the world when there's probably a really simple solution to it. Call Mount Healthy. What do Mount Healthy do when it rains? I'm sure they have some sort of a contingency plan. Or maybe just people bring umbrellas. I don't know. But rain ain't the worst thing that can happen to you. I know somebody, what if it's thundering and lightning, Emanuel? Okay, contingency plan, Jim. What if a tornado come, Emanuel? Okay, you got me. If a tornado hit in the middle of the graduation, it might be problems. You got me. So it's not the solution. I'm not saying it's the solution for fighting. I'm just saying it wouldn't be a bad thing to look at. And again, call Mount Healthy and say, what do you guys do if you have graduation scheduled on Friday and it rains? Oh, yeah, no, we moving into the gym. We send out an alert and let people know that it moves into the gym, and then they come to the gym and we have the graduation. It don't y'all try to make it the most difficult thing in the world. I don't imagine it is. Uh, Hold on, I'm scrolling. I'm scrolling. Shahira says, and how will the location change stop the fighting? This is not a sarcastic question. This is a real question. Sadly, I believe that that is a real question from you. I can see you reading this sarcastically, and that's not my intent. No, no, no. I really genuinely believe that was a real question for you, which just says to me that you wasn't listening, because I said clearly this is not a solution to the fighting. This is just maybe something to save a little bit of money for the school district. I said that, I think, a few times. I believe maybe you didn't hear it, you didn't listen, or something like that. I don't think you were being sarcastic. A lot of times I don't think your questions be sarcastic. They sadden me a little bit, but I don't think they be sarcastic. I think you be genuinely meaning them. Yeah. Yeah. Andrew says, my graduation was on a football field and it rained right as we were walking over the bridge, so they couldn't change or stop it. We had to sit in the rain. They cut the ceremony short. There you go. There you go. Staban said Hughes don't have a football field. CPS, y'all trying to make this as hard as y'all can be. CPS has a football field down at Taft, and they can just schedule all their graduations on different days at the same football field that has enough general seating for everybody. Some of y'all, I think, might be veering into the lane of sarcasm. Because this ain't that difficult. Like, Hughes don't have a football field, so that means they can't graduate. No, it just means they have to go somewhere where there's a football field that's already owned by CPS. It's not that hard. That part of it, which again is not the solution for the fighting. The reason that this was brought up because somebody was saying, oh, they fighting over there. And the reason why is a problem why we saying black people, because then black people gonna ruin it for all the black people. And UC ain't gonna let them have their graduation over there at UC no more. And then what they gonna do? And I'm like, well, then they could just save that money and then have it on the football field. That's the reason that, you know, the kind of train of logic that brought me to this. And it should have just been like, oh, football field, that's not a bad idea. Or, oh, football field, I don't like it. But not like, what if it rained? What if they ain't got a football field? What if the grass is brown? Well, what if a tornado come? Well, what if the football field we have a flash flood and then the football field flood and it's like a swimming pool and then everybody had to swim through the graduation and y'all making it too hard. Y'all making it too hard. Emanuel, how does having the venue outside change the mindset and behavior of the people? It's not where it's located, it's the mindset of the people. These are two different conversations. Somehow they are tangled together because, I'll explain it again, because the comments that some people were throwing out earlier was the fighting. Number one is black people don't know how to act. And the reason why it's black people and why it's so important that we point out that it's just black people who do it is because it's happening at UC, and UC then is going to say y'all can't have a graduation over here at UC, and then CPS students won't ever be able to graduate again if they can't have their ceremony over at UC. And I'm saying all of that is a big leap. Realistically, CPS could save money by having graduations at football fields. I said on a number of occasions that won't stop the fighting. Because again, a couple of the skirmishes that I saw, well, the one that I saw at the Catholic school was at a football field. So it definitely ain't gonna stop the fighting. It's an offshoot of a conversation. To some degree, it's taken away the excuse of, well, what about UC not letting them graduate? And that is an excuse that some people are using to make this a thing to bash black people. So you can take that away. Now why you want to bash black people? This ain't that hard. This ain't that hard. Emanuel, you saying that because there's no solution to inappropriate behavior, so therefore have it on your own property. Oh, this ain't that hard. This ain't that hard. Oh, my spirit hurt. Y'all making my spirit hurt. I think a dress code would change the violence. I doubt that a dress code would change the violence. I doubt that a dress code would change the violence. I've seen fights in church, again, where people are dressed to the nines. But I'm not against a dress code. People are saying do virtual. I don't like that idea. I don't like that idea. All right, hold on. Does anyone know when the next CPS high school graduation is and which school? I don't know which ones have graduated and which ones haven't. Daryl says, you said a dress code will stop the violence. I'm sure somebody believe I said that. Oh, y'all be making stuff. Y'all be making stuff too difficult sometimes. But so I don't know the answer to the violence. And again, it doesn't seem to be widespread. It doesn't seem to be widespread. Like, half the arena is fighting. Seems to be. Now, I mean, according to what I heard Mr. Ware say, which kind of had to take some of this stuff with a grain of salt, but, it was a lot of fights that happened outside, and he said the people wouldn't stop fighting. And I kind of get that. Just in the sense that once you start fighting, especially if it's over something silly, if you didn't have cool enough head to not start fighting, it's reasonable that it's going to be difficult to gain your senses and stop fighting. Again, that doesn't mean it's good. It's still bad. I can't believe I had to say all of this stuff. That don't mean it's good. It's still bad. LaDonna says, just stop having them. No. Why would you stop having graduations? Because a few people got into a fight at a couple of graduations. Yeah, that's my stomach. I haven't eaten today. I'm working on it. I'm working on the not eating thing. So just ignore the stomach when it happens. Just ignore it. Suggesting a dress code will stop the violence is so juvenile. Some people believe that, though. People genuinely believe, well, when you dress a certain way, then you feel a certain way, so you act a certain way. I had my thumbs up. I'm sorry. And for some people, that may be their reality. For some people, that may be their reality. But I don't know that that's everybody's reality. Plus, people don't dress up like, oh, I don't know that I want to say this because it don't sound right. Certain people don't dress up right. Like if y'all said, look, everybody got to wear a suit and tie. Everybody got to wear a suit and tie. Then all them brothers with the peach suits and the sky blue suits and the teal suits and, the orange suits and the raspberry colored suits with the matching hats and the matching shoes and, the shirts ain't sized right and all of that kind of stuff. They still come up in there fighting. They would still be fighting. They not gonna stop fighting because they got on they zoot suit. But yeah, no. Staban say, do like Mount Healthy, 2 tickets per graduate. That might be a better solution. I don't like that solution, though. I don't like that solution. I don't really know that anything has to happen when you really think about it. How many of these fights are happening at graduations? And I get the kind of knee-jerk reaction to, oh, a fight happened, no more graduation. Well, no, we gotta, okay, only 2 people per student. Or, oh, we gotta do, I get that. But again, when the overwhelming majority of people are well behaved, relatively speaking, when the overwhelming majority of people are well behaved, you figure out how to weed out the not so well behaved. You figure that out. And this is one thing that I hear sometimes with black people. I didn't say always, and I didn't say only, but sometimes I hear this with black people. The skirmish that happened at the Catholic school, trust me when I tell you, they did not get together and think, maybe we shouldn't have graduation ceremonies anymore. That was a little much. Maybe we should limit the number of people that show up. Because that was a little much. Trust me, they didn't do that. It was like a few people, more than likely, they were like a few people acted a fool. And, maybe we get a little bit more security out here and make sure that don't happen. Maybe we, send notes and letters home with the students, pre-graduation to let them know some things happened last year at our graduation ceremony. We don't want a repeat of that. So please be on your best behavior. And if you're not, we're going to have security there and police, and you will be arrested and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. And we send that message out to everybody and we hammer that home. Maybe they thought about that. But I can almost guarantee you they didn't think, let's not have any more graduation ceremonies. Let's do it virtually. Were any of these people students? Which people? At the graduation I was at, no. All the students were on the graduating students were on the field. I don't know. I don't know why they fought. In order to have a solution, we be trying to come up with solutions that we couldn't possibly one size fits all for anyway. One size fits all is not going to, any problem that could ever arise that people might fight about at a graduation, we got the solution for it. That's probably not going to happen. But I think it's a worthwhile conversation because, again, I believe that the solution is home training. My definition of home training. And I acknowledge and realize that our society is a lot more aggressive and more dangerous. Jerick says people aren't going to fight in church clothes. Yes, they will. Yes, they will. Yes, they will. They fight in church. People fight in church. Why would they not fight at a graduation in church clothes? And I really don't like the idea of dictating to people how they dress. I genuinely don't like that. I've never liked that. I grew up the son of a preacher and had to wear suits and stuff to church, and I always hated it, which is why you will very rarely ever see me in a suit, because I hated it. I hated it. Just let me dress. Let me be comfortable and, sing and thank God and praise God and all of that kind of stuff. I can do all of that in jeans and a t-shirt. And I believe he hears me. Like, having on a suit don't make him hear me more. Like, oh, I can't hardly hear. I don't hear nobody. Here, put on this jacket. Oh, I hear them now. I hear them now. They're praising me. I don't think that happens. I just don't. But I could be wrong. Maybe y'all got some different insight from God. And he's like, I hear people with suits. I don't hear people if they don't have on suits. And maybe y'all know. And he didn't communicate that to me, though. What else? But yeah, no. Hold on. Let's wrap this up. It's not just black people. The bad behavior of some black people don't reflect on all black people. Somebody said that, and I'm like, oh, let's make that how they look at us, and I don't care. I don't care how they look at us. I don't care. Somebody's, well, it's embarrassing. I think this was Vernon earlier. I'd be embarrassed. It's embarrassing to watch those people fighting. And I'm not embarrassed. If I didn't do it, I'm not embarrassed. I'm not embarrassed if I didn't do it. If I walk down the street and it's 4 young black men literally showing they behind in the middle of Vine Street, I'm not embarrassed. Unless I'm one of them 4 showing his behind. You know what I'm saying? I might be embarrassed then, like, oh, everybody looking at my behind. But other than that, I'm not embarrassed. I might be a little bit ashamed of that person. That's shameful. I'm ashamed of you. I'm ashamed of you. But I'm not embarrassed. Maybe if it was my kid doing it, then I'd be embarrassed. Like, oh, I didn't teach my kid right. I'm embarrassed that my kid is out there doing that. Again, if it's not my kid and it's not me, I'm ashamed of you. You should be shamed, and I am ashamed of you. But I'm not embarrassed. Oh, people gonna think that's what black people do. Well, if you keep running around saying everything that one black person does is what we all do, then sure they gonna believe that that's what black people do. And we might need to fix some of our thinking. Some of us who have those thoughts might need to fix some of our thinking around some of this stuff. The same way I won't let a classy one rage bait me. I'm not going to be embarrassed by something I didn't do. So I guess that's that. I guess that's that. Home training. How do we get people to do home training? How do we get, because a lot of it comes down to parents and all that kind of stuff. How do we get parents to train people? I keep going back to a lot of this is our fault. A lot of this is our fault. And when I say our fault, I mean our generation and the generation above us. Not every individual in that generation, but there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people in our generation. I know it was the crack epidemic. Some stuff was happening before the crack epidemic, and if people had sometimes a proper training, proper home training, maybe the crack epidemic wouldn't have been as bad as it was. But some of our parents wanted, us. They wanted to raise us different. They didn't want to raise us the way they was raised. Oh, we got whoopings. And I don't want to whoop my kid. And oh, we got this, and I don't want this and that. Oh, and this happened to us, and I don't want that to happen to them. Oh, we went through these struggles, and I don't want my kids to go through those struggles and all of that kind of stuff. So they minimized a lot of what happened, and people did, become a lot more, I'm going to say, kind of lackadaisical in terms of teaching like manners and all of that kind of stuff. A lot of people got a lot less strict. Even just from the whole idea of if you a kid and you walk into the room and you see people there, especially adults, you speak. But then some people got to a point where, well, why do the kid have to speak? The adults is all in the room. They should already have manners, so they should do the speaking to the kid, and then the kid should have to respond. And then kids like, well, I got to speak to adults when I walk in the room. They the adults. They the one who should be speaking to me. I believe, it's little stuff like that that gets us in the situations that we're in now. I'm a part of it. I'm a part of it. Growing up, I didn't always make my kids say yes, sir, and no, sir, and yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am, to me or to their mom or to other. Now, they had to be respectful and, all of that kind of stuff, but they didn't. As long as you're being respectful, using a respectful tone and all of that kind of stuff, you don't always have to say yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am, and yes, sir, and no, sir, and all of that kind of stuff. You want a piece of candy? Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. I didn't necessarily make my kids do that. And I know that sounds so minor. It sounds so minor, but I don't think it is. I don't know that we'll ever get back to that. But I think that is a part of the problem. We let some of that stuff just go. We said it ain't that important, and maybe we didn't realize, and I'm saying we because I'm including me, I'm a part of it. If it was just y'all, I wouldn't say we. Because I think when you say we, that means you're included. But yeah, we looked at some of that stuff and we said, it ain't all that important. Just what difference do yes, sir, and no, sir? And we didn't realize that there was something involved in just the little acknowledging sir and ma'am as a term of respect. I'm showing them respect. No, don't just show them respect, with your actions. Show respect with your words too. Because if you're allowed to let go of the showing respect with your words, then next is going to be allowed to let go of the respect with your actions or with your tone. So now you ain't got to show respect with your words, and you ain't got to show respect with your tone. So now, but my actions, I said, yeah, I did it. You know what I'm saying? They told me, go do this, and I said, okay. And I did it, so I showed respect with my action, but you didn't show it with your words. You didn't show it with your tone. So then guess what's next? You ain't got to show respect with your words. You ain't got to show respect with your tone. Next, you ain't got to show respect with your actions. Go over there and get that. Who are you to tell me what to do? You ain't my daddy. You ain't my mama. What are you telling me what to do? And eventually, all that stuff just kind of fall away. And then next thing you know, nobody is showing anybody respect. Because we thought sir was unnecessary. I really believe, I know for some of y'all, that's a stretch. But I really believe that. And that's why I'm blaming me. I'm blaming me. I'm part of it. Because I participated in it. Yeah, I couldn't marry you right. I couldn't say dag. I remember I said dag one day, and my daddy gave me this look. And I said, what? And he said, that sounds too much like damn. Don't say that no more around me. I said, yes, sir. I don't think I ever said dag around him anymore. It's another true story. It was something about, he was serious about it too. And I was thinking, all I said was dag. I mean, I knew the word damn. I could have said damn if I wanted to say damn. Dang, he too, it's too much. That's what the kids would say now. You doing too much. I wish I would have told my daddy, you doing too much. I wish I would have told my daddy that. As he say, he'd have jumped on me. Oh, that was his turn. He would have jumped on me. But all of the stuff I'm saying, how do we convince these young parents, being younger than us, like my daughter's age, she's almost 30. And she got the little baby who's like 7. How do we convince these 30-year-olds to take this stuff that that a lot of times we didn't give them all of it and pour it into their 7-year-olds? How do we convince them to do that? And the truth of the matter is, okay, not the truth of the matter, because truth makes it sound factual. The way that I see it is a lot of times okay, this might sound like some excuse making for a minute. It might sound like excuse making for a minute, but it's not. Even with the not saying sir and all that kind of stuff that some of us put into our kids. And those kids, though, they still had a certain level of respect. But I think we have to acknowledge that there are some kids that just wasn't raised right. There's some bad people who created little people, and they raised those little people to be bad little people, and then they grow up to be even worse big people. And then those worse big people go out and have kids. And then those kids are like really bad little people that grow up to be, excuse me, Janice, worser big people. And now, so we got one cycle where respect is going down gradually, but we got another cycle where respect just plummeted. And how do we get the worser people to be less worser? Janice, I know all of that stuff hurt me to say. It all hurt me to say, but hopefully y'all get the point. I don't know. But it seems to me that it's the worser or the worserest people who probably in graduations fighting, who probably in the streets fighting, you know what I'm saying? Those are the people. And how do we get the worserest people? It's a small amount of them. That's not the majority. It's not close to the majority. It's, I think, the extreme minority. And some of y'all is letting them dictate who we as a people are. I refuse to accept it. But we do need a way to deal with the worserest. I believe that. I believe that. All right, 513-717-KING, 513-717-5464. That's the number to get on board. Hold on, the app is updating. It just keep updating. It's still doing that staticky thing. Let me see. What's that? That's not today. 513-717-KING. That's the number to get on board. CK.
Hey man, hey, how you doing, Mr. Livingston? I was listening to your soliloquy. It was quite phenomenal, and I like the way you switched it up like that. Cut them off, get it off your chest, and then take it in, right?
All right.
Take the phone call, but I wanted to discuss the manners with you.
Okay.
Because no doubt I'm top 4. I would put myself top 4 in Cincinnati on mannerable people. I mean, man, I done gotten 4 fist fights just over being so mannerable. You hear me? And what you have to remember with ma'am and sir, there's no man, probably in the whole country, that speaks English, that's going to be offended from the word sir. But you will offend some women with the word ma'am. And that's what I called to talk to you about, Tina Talk.
Okay, what women do you perceive will be offended by the use of the word ma'am? In particular, from a child.
The only women I really see that have a problem with it is people that's kind of insecure about their age. That's the only.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I think, any adult, any reasonable adult sees a child and, the child responds to them, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. I don't perceive those people as being offended. I think if you're...
I agree. I'm going with my personal account. I'm just talking about as far as not from children, but as far as manners. And I think this is part of... Remember when I tell you, this is all about stopping the violence. The manners, then you get to see that no violence is necessary. Because you can get through with manners. Sometimes manners can get you out of a fight. Sometimes. With unreasonable people.
Okay. But I'm saying, look, I say yes, sir, and yes, ma'am, no, sir, and no, ma'am. Right now, I'm 54 years old. And I say it to people all the time. And I've never had anyone, react in a negative way to that I can think of right at the moment.
Never in your whole life?
Not that I can think of at the moment.
Yeah, this is well. You know, I deal with a lot of people. I deal with like hundreds of people a day. So I get to study characteristics, and that's one reason I'm so good with manners because I deal with so many people. So I'm the guy when you cross paths, I put a smile on your face. You know what I mean? I can see like people going through stuff, and I make them, take their mind off of that. Very articulate, Livingston, but it's all about manners. So, like you said, people that's angry and bitter, they could, they manners. I don't. I can't say they wasn't taught manners, but maybe they don't feel like being mannerable. I mean, what's your thoughts?
I could see that being the case. Yeah.
Yeah, because no matter what I'm going through, Livingston, you see how I talk to you. I said, "Dear Mr. Emanuel Livingston, your phone severely, I don't know what it said, severely rejected me or something like that, right?"
Okay.
It was all in the manner. I was talking to you the way you was giving your platform. I was trying to be very mannerable, which I got a response.
Okay.
You see what I mean?
I
But
see
you
what
have
you
to
mean.
understand, with these kids, when you're mannerable to them, that they give it off. You could be serious, because they be like, "Oh man, I never heard," just like you. "I never heard you cuss." Hey, it's a notch you don't hurt, no. But my manners get me into the doors. You
Okay.
know what I mean? It get me into the doors. And as far as what else you were saying about the fighting on the
Yeah. About
yeah,
the extreme minority of people having fights at graduations.
yeah. And LaDonna made a comment. She said we should stop having graduations.
Okay.
I think that was her comment.
All right.
And you called her out on that immediately. I don't agree with her statement on that. I respect it, but I don't want to stop graduations over a fight. I think that would be completely idiotic. And I don't think that would make sense, because you're if you do that, sir, remember you're punishing future academics. What do they call? What do people call academics?
Academics works.
Yeah, you are. If you go with LaDonna's opinion, you are punishing all the rest of, punishing forever. I think they would be bitter. I mean, how do you think your grandbaby would feel if she graduated and there's no more graduation?
Well, I think she pretty much gonna be like me, and I was gonna skip my graduation because I didn't care about that stuff. My mama made me go, so more than
What?
likely, my granddaughter gonna be like, "I got my diploma. I don't care about no ceremony." But I don't know. You never know. She might not
What?
feel that way.
Hold on. This is how you felt about your academia diploma?
No, this is how I felt about the ceremony to hand me my diploma.
You didn't have no emotional attachments.
No, no.
Do you think that was because of immaturity, or do you feel that same way now?
No, it's just a ceremony. I look, I earned the degree. Uh Mail it to me. Let me come and pick it up. I don't need to stand there in a cap and gown and listen to people give speeches and march and shake somebody's hand while they give it to me. I didn't need all of that. For me, the diploma is the diploma. All of the pomp and circumstance surrounding handing it to me, I could have done without.
Hold on, what is this, high school or college? Because this is crazy what you said. You deny a ceremony in high school or college?
It was high school. I wasn't planning on going until my mama said, "I don't care what you say. You better put on that suit and put on that cap and that gown and get in the car because we going to this graduation."
God bless her soul. That's what I'm talking about right there. That's she did right. She listen. You cannot do that. Even you would have broke her heart. That's why you did. She made you do it for her.
But that's exactly, she made me do it for her. It was something she wanted. But if she wouldn't have wanted it, I wouldn't have gone, and I'd have been just as fine going up to the school the next day or whatever and picking up my diploma or them mailing it to me. I would have been fine either way. Actually,
Oh my God.
I didn't need the actual physical diploma, as long as when the college asked for them papers, transcripts, whatever, they know I graduated. I'm straight. I have no idea where my high school diploma is right now. I don't miss it. I don't care. I graduated. That's all that mattered to me. I did what I was
Oh
supposed to
my
do to
God.
graduate. I don't
So
care
I got
about
to hit you
all
with
of
the
the
correlation.
other stuff around it.
Let me hit you with the Mr. Livingston.
Yes, sir.
Let me hit you with the correlation now. Based on your facts that you just stated, was your wedding the same way? Is it like you would have did the Justice of the Peace, but your wife wanted a big wedding? Is it the same exact analogy?
Sort of. I would have. Like, I don't. Again, all the ceremony and all that kind of stuff. Now, Mrs. Livingston wanted a nice destination wedding, so that's what
Of
we
course.
did. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed my high school graduation. I enjoyed it, but I didn't need it. That's all I'm saying. And so if Mrs. Livingston would have been like, we don't need no ceremony, let's just go fill out some paperwork and sign some papers, I'd have been like, cool, because I don't need all of that kind of stuff.
Hey, based on the conversation we just had, this just proves by your wife and your mama that men are just dumb. We don't care about the things that's important. We think the other things are important. The ceremony, like you said, to your mama, the graduation ceremony is important. To you, the diploma is important. To your wife, the marriage ceremony, what do they call it, a wedding? The wedding is the important part. To you, it's the marriage, like the paperwork. It's like the same thing, right? Like the paperwork, like now we officially married. That's more important.
I have no idea where our marriage certificate or any of that kind of stuff is. I don't care. I don't care about that stuff. That me and that woman's relationship is what I care about. Whether we got paperwork, a ring, a ceremony, any of that kind of stuff. Do I respect you? Do you respect me? Do I love you? Do you love me? Do we work together? Do we, all of that kind of stuff. That's what's important to me, not all of the tangible stuff surrounding it.
Tell your talk, man. Hey, that was a good one. That was a good, your analogy. Hey, you on the road today. Tell the truth. That was a good. So you don't know where your high school diploma is?
No idea.
I love this, man. At least you're sticking to your guns, just like the boycott. Hey, I like that. You got to say, because I feel the same way, though. I'm just like you. I just want to be smart enough to graduate. You got to understand, when it comes to me, I tried to get that GED over 30 times. Like, I would have been the first person in my family to get a GED. You hear me?
Okay.
First person. So it's hard when you're trying to be the first. But now, so many people in your family done graduated that you're taking it for granted.
No.
But if you heard your whole life, talk to me, bro. Talk to me.
No, I got to run. I appreciate. I don't agree.
Go ahead.
I'm
gonna listen
I'll
to you.
explain it.
To you, bro.
I'll explain it off air.
Yes, I got you, man. I got you, bro. Right. Thank you, man.
No, it's not a matter of I don't appreciate or take graduation for granted. There's two answers to that. Let me deal with the portion that he's talking about. I'm not saying I take it for granted. Getting the diploma, the piece of paper, is not that big of a deal. Going through the ceremony, sitting there, listening to speeches and songs, and, then getting up, waiting. Oh, it's our turn. Get up. All right, walk around here, stand. Next person. Next person. Next person. So-and-so. Next person. Stacy Long. Next person. Emanuel Livingston. We go up here, shake your hand. All right, thank you. And walk back to my seat while people say, hey! And then me sit back down. And then I could have did without that portion of it. That's all I'm saying. That portion didn't make me a graduate. Now, in terms of taking graduation for granted, I would say I kind of did. In this sense, in my family, not graduating high school was not an option. Like, it wasn't even, like, we didn't talk about, are you gonna graduate high school or not? What the conversation was, what college you want to go to? What do you want to do when you graduate? So the expectation was set that To me, it would be like saying, "Oh, I was so surprised that he got out the third grade." Like, no, that's not even an option to not graduate from the third grade. It's not an option to not get out of the sixth grade. It's not an option to not get out of the eighth grade. None of those were options. So, oh, you graduated from the eighth grade. Wasn't like, yeah, I did it. It was like, this is supposed to happen. So, in that sense, I guess I took it for granted because it was never an option to not graduate. Never. So that's that. B-Rab.
What's going on, E-Man? How you doing?
B-Rab, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. So you wasn't excited about walking with your peers, getting that, diploma, you wasn't excited about that? You said you could have went without it?
Yeah, I had no intention on going. It was, I don't remember what time we graduated, but I had went and stayed with my sister for the last few weeks of high school. Because she lived right down the street from the high school, so it was just easier for me. And so graduation night, I'm at my sister's house, and I don't know if the ceremony started at 7, it's probably 6 o'clock, and I'm just sitting there chilling, watching TV, and my mama came over, knocked on the door, and she was all dressed up and everything, and she like, "What you doing?" And I'm like, "Watching TV." And she like, "Boy, you better go put on the suit." And I'm like, "I don't intend on going to no graduation." And she said, "The hell you don't. You better go put on a suit and get in the car. Let's go. Hurry up, because we going to be late." And that was that. I had no intention on going.
Yeah, man, I'll try to pass it off on baby girl, man. She going to have a good time walking with her peers. The 8th grade graduation.
I'm not trying to
rub that
pass
spirit
it off on
baby girl,
anything.
man.
She can be whoever she going to be. I see a lot of, and me and her mom have noticed this, a lot of things that she does are like the same things that I did when I was her age. And a lot of her mannerisms and stuff remind me of me. And so I have no intention on, I'm not telling her that this stuff ain't important and all of that kind of stuff, but I'm gonna let her make up her own mind. But that's why I was saying, if she's end up being anything like me, she gonna be like, "I don't need to go to no ceremony."
That's hilarious, man. I haven't watched the news. What high schools was fighting?
Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they had a fight at the Hughes high school graduation, and I believe they had a fight. Was it the Taft high school graduation? I believe those two.
Wow, it was 2 of them. Wow, jeez. So, anybody know any reasons on what they were fighting about?
I don't.
So they didn't have any insight on did somebody threaten me to do harm, physically harm? It was just people don't know what was going on, huh?
I don't think so. Not at this point.
Wow, that's crazy. So, half of the people probably there probably was like a cousin, or I'm sure it couldn't have been a parent, because that's embarrassing to even do that, to even want to do that at a high school graduation. If it was the parents, that's a shame on them, and it all comes down to, I call E-Man because it all comes down to social engineering, especially when it comes to us and what they promote on how we should act and what type of stuff that we should do as a people. Of course, it's the small minority of it, but the media makes it so broad. That's how we got people like Black Lion. I'm sorry, I keep being Black Lion. That's how we got people like White Lion calling a black radio station, telling people about black fatigue. That really offended me. Where them people on the other side is the one killing their family. Them people is the one calling little kids N-words in the park. Them people is the one running inside the White House and doing all kinds of racist stuff. And the list goes on and on and on. So I don't think, man, in my opinion, that the social engineering that the United States government, along with the FBI and the CIA, promoted onto the black culture, I don't think that's ever going to go away. I think that stuff like that is going to be here to the end of time, man. Unfortunately. Hopefully we could see through the tricks that they throw at us and try to wise and smarten up. That's why I was talking to Mr. Ware the other day, and he was like, well, you know, it seemed like he was trying to say that we are dependent on their businesses and stuff like that. Like, so like it's crazy, man. What you think? What you think about my thoughts on what I'm saying? Is it more than that? Or?
Hold on. I'm only slightly confused about what it is that you were saying. Run it down to me again real quick.
Okay. Which part about the social engineering?
Yes.
Okay. No. Okay. For example, right? In the 70s, they came out with the movie called The Mac.
Okay.
And they came out with a lot of black exploitation films back in those days to social engineer black folks, especially black folks that's on a lower level, that's not, you know, a low income black folks, to pimping, hoeing, doing cocaine, selling drugs. Hey, what's up, you jive turkey sucker chump? All that stuff that's our culture. When it really was social engineered onto us about that being our culture when it's really not. Do you get what I'm saying?
I do, and I agree with you, yes.
So it continued on throughout the 80s, throughout the crack epidemic. You know what I mean? Because in the 40s, the 30s, 40s, and 50s, it wasn't that big of an influence, or they didn't have like enough pull or reach to try to social engineer the way that what they had pulled in the 70s, 80s, and the 90s with the crack epidemic onto the hip hop epidemic, to where we're going to engineer this music to where these people are going to hear this music and somehow they're going to want to kill each other. They're going to want to fight each other. They're going to want to poison their community, sell drugs. They're going to want to litter. They're not going to want to do anything constructive. If they do come around and gather amongst their peers, amongst their group, we don't want it to be constructive. We want them to be at odds with each other. All that was social programmed, in my opinion.
Okay.
So unfortunately,
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
Again, I think I do agree with you, and I see Blade on here saying that that's making excuses, but it's not. Because
no, absolutely not.
That social engineering, it might work a little bit on a lot of people, right? But it's the really, I'm gonna call them, it's the weak-minded people that it work the best on, and it's a small percentage of the population. But again, we just say if 3 people get into a fight at Hughes and there are 12,000 people there, they look at those 3 people and say black people don't know how to act. So it's effective because it only has to be effective on the really small minority, and then they go out there and act a fool. And then for a lot of people, that reflects bad on all of us, which is why I always reject that whole, what they do reflects on us. No, what they do reflects on them. The rest of us, it don't affect. But I agree with you. A very small percentage of the population in general, but specifically black people, have been socially engineered by the movies, the music, and all of that kind of stuff to act a certain way. I agree.
And no, I could agree and disagree all at the same time, to where you say what they do don't reflect on us. And you're right. I'm not saying that you're wrong, but it do and it don't, because what the lower class of the white folks do, which is the majority of them, a majority of them Trumpsters and them racist white folks, they are like the majority on that side. And it doesn't reflect the GM at the Buzz. It doesn't reflect people like that status. You know what I'm saying? Like how our lower class and our community kind of does, because we are more close to our lower class than they are to their lower class. Does that make sense?
I hear what you're saying, but again, I hear what you're saying, but again, we can agree to disagree. Just from the standpoint of B-Rap, if you go out here today and buy some crack and smoke it, that don't reflect on me. That reflects on you. I don't accept responsibility for your crack smoking.
Right. No, that's true. But at the same time, I have people in my family that has money. So if I'm out here smoking crack, that's going to look bad on my uncle who has money. You know what I'm saying? But, oh, man, you got a nephew that's, you know what I mean? Opposed to if the white person on my uncle's level who has money had a cousin out here doing meth, that doesn't really reflect that bad on them because, they, like I said, they can mix and mingle with each other, but it's a different type of class when it comes to representation when it comes to that side of the fence, opposed to us because we're kind of more close to it. Like,
I understand.
You know what I mean? But I understand what you're saying.
And I understand what you're saying.
So yeah, man. Did you hear about the guy? I forgot what state this was in, but you remember the game Nigger Knock?
I'm not sure.
Well, anyway, it was a game back in the day called Nigger Knocking, where you knock on somebody's door and you run off.
Oh, so, no, we never called it that. I don't know. We never called it that at all.
What y'all called it?
Shoot, I don't remember.
Cause I came up in the 90s. I was playing in the 90s. I'm sure you was playing in the early 80s, late 70s. So probably the name got changed. But anyway,
I don't remember what we called it. Something like knock and run. I don't remember what we called it, but we definitely didn't call it N-word knocking. We definitely.
I don't know why I was a kid, like 8 or 9, and honestly, I don't know, where they got the name from, but that's what we called it when I was a child, like a kid, 10, 11, and that was before I was conscious of the word nigger, like being the way I'm conscious of it now.
Okay.
But that was the game. Anyway, to make a long story short, it's a version of that today. It's not called the N-word knock. It's called something different to where it's some kids that come to kick your door and they'll run off. Okay. It's between at least 3 to 4 teenagers, and the game should only take maybe 5 seconds at the most. So to make a long story short, a guy thought somebody was breaking into his house because they was playing that game, and he shot and killed one of the kids. Of course, he's black, and the kid who he shot was white. But they ended up arresting the black guy and charging him for murder because he thought somebody was breaking in. So, yeah, look that story up. I forgot what city it's in.
Well,
now,
just based on what you're saying, he should be charged with murder.
No, I disagree.
Why? You can't
disagree.
You can't just shoot.
So you mean to tell? Go ahead, man. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Did he shoot through the door?
I'm assuming so.
You can't shoot people through the door. You can't do that.
Emanuel, if you feel like somebody is breaking into your home and they are in the vicinity of your property, you can shoot wherever you want. You feel like you're being safe.
You can't. Listen. You may not know this. You cannot shoot people through the door. You can't do that. It's been cases
to where people got shot through the door and they got out because they was afraid of someone breaking into their home, i.e. Caucasian people.
Okay, so look, they may have got lucky or got a bad jury or whatever, but I'm telling you, you can't. Somebody bang on your door, even if you believe that
at 3 a.m.
I don't care what time it is, you can't be shooting people through the door.
So you mean to tell me that if somebody is banging on my door violently, I have to sit there and wait till they come in in order for me to use force to protect my property? Is that
pretty much? Yes.
So that's the law.
Yes.
That's crazy.
You
That's
can't
crazy to me.
shoot people through the door.
Yeah, that's crazy to me. I don't get. I know I'm pulling the trigger. I ain't giving nobody no chance, and I'm just gonna fight it out in court. That's what I'm gonna do because
Okay.
that's the same way that officer shot that one lady through her window down in Texas, and he got off.
It's different rules, which I don't agree with, of course. There are different rules for law enforcement and for regular people, right?
True.
So you believe that if somebody, like you wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and you see a shadowy figure standing by your window, you can just pull out your gun and blam, 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 got him. I got him before he
No,
got me.
no, no,
No,
no, no.
you can't
I'm
do that.
saying is if in that scenario, if you see somebody standing at your window or shadow, you gotta yell out, "Hey, I'm protected. Y'all better leave." You better give them a warning. And if they don't heed to their warning, then you got carte blanche to do what you got to do to protect your property. Period.
Y'all,
Like,
look, don't be listening to B-Rap. Dina is right. There was a case, I don't remember exactly where it was, where I think the lady had either cussed out or hit the woman's child, and then the mama, who was a black lady, came up to that lady door, either banging on the door, kicking the door, threatening to beat her behind. She shot
I
that
remember
woman
that.
through the door, and she was convicted. You can't shoot people through the door.
I think I remember that. I think I know what you're talking about. I mean, it makes sense. I understand the law and it makes sense. But again, I'm on the side of the homeowner. If you feeling feared, if you feeling like somebody is going to break in, then you have to do what you got to do. But it makes sense, E-Man. I'm not saying that you're wrong, but to me, I feel like you got to do what you got to do in order to protect yourself, your loved ones, and your family. Even if they, what if they got the drop on you or whatever? Like, I mean, that's just me or my thinking.
Look, I understand what you're saying. I understand it. But it's certain rules are slightly different for the curtilage of your house, as for the interior of your house. If they come in the door, all bets are off. You do what you got to do. But if they're out there in because think about it, the idea that just because somebody banging on your door, you can kill them. What if I'm running, somebody kidnapped me and I got away? And I'm, I see a house. Help, help, help. And bam, 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 bam. I thought he was trying to break in. You can't just shoot people outside the door.
I think a case like that happened here where a guy was running away from this girl and he banged on the door and somebody shot him. Did you remember that case?
I don't. But hold on a second. Tanique, it's not his phone. It's actually my phone that stinks. It's my phone that's doing all that static. So once he hangs up, then I have to close the app and then open it back up. I don't know. They have to figure out what it is, but it's not B-Rab's phone. That's the problem.
Oh, is my phone? My phone sound crazy?
It does, but again, it's not your phone. It's my phone.
Oh, okay. See, Tanika blaming me. You don't even know what's going on, Tanika. You was wrong. I'm being petty because I feel like she was probably being petty. I'm sorry, Tanika. But anyway, man, that's all I had wanted, man. Just, I'm saying? Our people is way more magnetized when it comes to us opposed to when it comes to them, like, you know what I mean? And it's all by design at the end of the day. And we have to be smarter than that, like, you feel me? Like, but it's entertainment. We could talk about it, you feel me? Like, but enjoy your day, man. Like, you feel me? And I agree with you, man. Like, next time, let's move the venue. Like, let's have it at TAF. I understood everything you were saying. We have a forecast 7 days out the week. If the graduation on Saturday, and we know on Wednesday it's raining on Saturday, let the singers know we're moving the venue or the location to this place or other. It's not that difficult, people. It's not that hard.
B-Rap, I appreciate your call.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it, man. You have a good one, bro.
You too. All right, let me hang up that. Yeah, it wasn't B-Rap's fault. It wasn't. It was my phone. My phone sucks, and I'm gonna have to let them know I am not pleased. Cause every once in a while after a call, it brings up a thing. Say, were you pleased with the quality of that call? And I'm gonna have to tell them, no, I'm not. Twin.
What's up, man?
Hey, what's up, twin?
I couldn't call it. Yeah, man. B-Rap should know better than that, man. You gotta have a physical body across that threshold in order for it to be, in order for you to, shoot something back home, intruder or something. You can't shoot through the door. No, gotta be something. Either his came across their finger or something. In order for you to, I don't know what he think. He's stand your ground still in your house or something?
I mean, look, now let me say, maybe under some limited circumstances, you'll be able to get away with it. You know what I'm saying? Somebody got a gun and they, shooting inside your door. You can probably shoot back out. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe under some limited circumstances, you might be able to get away with it, but I wouldn't chance it.
No, if they shooting in your house, you got all right to shoot back. No, you got all right to, shoot back and everything. Emanuel graduation, y'all seen it on the internet and everything, floating around social media. They were fighting in the stands, and then they were fighting in, where the kids, sit down there. The students who graduate, it was a fight there. Did you see that video too?
I didn't see the video, no.
Yeah, I peeped it and everything. So, man, I don't know it, man. It's the new generation, man. They off the chain. It's the new generation. We do get blamed and everything because, people expect us, to go there decent and, we grown folk, mature enough. But, you got to label us, Emanuel, all the time. Like, hey, these Negroes don't know how to act out here, man. They can't have no fun, which is true sometimes, man. My book, I used to go to clubs heavy and everything and, different parties and all that, and I always be that one nigga or female, like, give you that gin-faced look, mean mugging you sideways. For what? And, I had to stop going for a minute, man. They ain't got to come here and, your girl looking at me and all that, eyeballing me, and I'm looking at her, and, I ain't, being disrespectful like I want to holler at her or something like that. But, that's how it is. So, I typically, like, slow my road doing that, man. But, these graduations, man, it ain't gonna do nothing, man. I don't care if you have it on the football field or they still go fight it, man. There's still gonna be some bloodshed or somewhere. Well, it's always been like that, especially when we living in a new era. They don't like your shoes or your hair or what you wearing. They always go be something, man. These people, the young folks out here for fashion, it's all about fashion now. If I can't get the $200 pair, I bet I get the $500 pair. It's all fashion now, competition. I don't get into that competition and who gets the best cars and all that. No, I'm gonna just live my life to the fullness, man. I'm not never been in competition with nobody, man. So
okay, I want to say I don't agree with a portion of what you said.
What you mean like that, Play? Because you go disagree and you go trying to run my blood pressure up today, but
no,
I ain't gonna let my lawnmower start.
No, we're gonna stay calm today. I don't agree, excuse me, with a portion of what you said. Just the idea, because you said it again, black people can't go nowhere and not fight. That's not true. There are plenty of
What
events.
you mean it's not true? Yes, because there you go.
I thought we were
I'm
gonna
calm
stay calm.
down.
I thought
I'm
we were
calm
gonna stay
down.
calm.
Because look, you need to stop. When I used to go all up.
Calm down.
No.
Calm down. Come
here, son. You gotta be destructive, boy. I'm sorry, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, what I'm telling you is that is not true. Black people go many places and there are no physical altercations that happen. It happens every day in America where black people get together and fights don't break out. Happens all the time. So please.
It depends on the situation. It depends on who you're around.
But,
you got drunk Willie and Keisha and them. Yeah, they go get into it. Man, you know what they doing at funeral homes today, man? They gang banging in funeral homes.
Wait.
Drive-bys and all. Come on, man. Stop playing, man.
Who are you talking to?
I'm talking to you.
You're not talking to the dog.
What dog? No, I ain't talking to the dog. I'm talking to you.
Because I thought we was going to stay calm.
No, man. No.
Oh, you want to turn up?
I'll try.
No, you didn't.
But no, real talking, man.
You
real
just
talk,
wanna
man. They
turn
gang banging at funeral homes, though, man. You ain't been
Twin.
peeping that, man, especially in Chicago. I've been watching.
Twin.
And other places. What's up, man?
Again, black people get together every day in America and fights don't break out. So please stop saying black people can't get together and act right, because that's just not true. Now, sometimes you do run into situations where people get together and fights break out. It happens with white people, it happens with black people, it happens with all people.
I don't hang around with white folks.
It don't matter
really.
Who you hang around with. It happens from time to time in every group. But that doesn't mean, and it doesn't define that group as not being able to be around each other without fighting. And if y'all don't stop buying into that and keep saying it as if it's true, and then you're like, well, why do what he do affect how you look at me? You're saying it's true when it's clearly not.
Man, I don't understand all races fight each other, but I'm speaking as us.
Okay.
What are you talking about?
Well, hold on.
I understand all that to the fullest.
So wait,
them white folks be crashing out at the games and wrestling and all that.
Twin, let me try to make this point make sense to you.
I understand your point, man.
I don't think you do.
Your delivery.
I don't think
I understand what you. I do, man.
Okay, so what am I saying? What am I saying?
You saying you want us to stop as, feeling like we the victims of everything. I mean, feel like we, fight. We the doing all majority of killing and fighting and all that. With,
no.
Dang on well, white folks or other race doing the
that's not
same
what I'm
thing.
saying. That's not what I'm saying.
What other understanding you trying to give me, man?
Here's let me give you an example that includes you. Do you remember when Lincoln Ware had that thing at the restaurant? The Rose Garden. He had a remote over there.
Yeah.
And you went?
I was there.
Right. And there was a whole lot of black people there, right?
Yeah.
How many fights broke out?
How
many fights broke out? Just answer Just answer the damn question. How many fights broke out?
Come here. Come. I'm sorry.
See? All that you done upset the baby. Go take care of the baby. Go take care of the baby.
Ain't no fights break out.
Right.
I'm sorry.
I can't talk to you about a baby crying. Take care of the baby.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. You good. Yeah. 0 fights broke out. That right there is proof that a group of black people can get together and not fight. So stop saying black people can't get together without fighting. Because you're living proof that that's not true. Stop saying it. I feel bad. I upset the baby. I upset the baby. I didn't want to upset the baby. I feel bad. Emanuel love the kids. Emanuel love the kids. Yeah, but for real, I really need y'all to stop saying that. Oh boy. Okay, I thought we was gonna get to some Constitution today. We're gonna get to the Constitution tomorrow. Article 2. If you feel like it, go through and read Article 2 of the Constitution. And I might, because I'm trying to debate on exactly how to do this to make it the most effective. I have this U.S. Constitution explained clause by clause for every American today. It's annotated by Ray Raphael. And I think that's what I'm going to do is we're going to read Constitution. So we're going to read Article 2. We're going to go clause by clause. So we'll read clause 1, and then I'll read Ray Raphael's explanation. And then we'll read clause 2, and I'll read the explanation. They're not very long. And, they kind of break down in more plain English what we just read or what I just finished reading badly. So I think that's what we'll do tomorrow. Yeah. But we gonna get this Constitution in. I still feel bad. I upset the baby. Brent.
You did not upset that baby. Because he probably still listens like, yeah, he the one made you cry. You didn't say it, man. Oh, man, he had the perfect example to disprove what he said, and whenever he hears something that he doesn't like, then it's, you on goofy terms,
right.
Right. Oh, my goodness, that's something like, man, you're right, I'll reconsider my thoughts or something like that, but no. But graduations and everything, and I thank my fellow Blurred, Sierra Brooks, for putting the percentage in there. I think she had like 0.0000 something percent of black folks were involved in those fights at those
right
at the graduations.
Right.
Yeah. So it's such a small percentage, and even my good friend AP, I got to disagree with him, wanting to create a new class of felonies for fights that happen at venues, like graduations. And there are already laws on the books to take care of that. Even some sporting venues like Philadelphia, their stadium, they're known for having their own jail cells in there to handle drunk folks. And
did they build a jail cell in the new stadium?
Oh, I'm pretty sure they did, because they known for wilding.
Okay.
So I wouldn't doubt it, and I've been by where they had WrestleMania a few years ago. I've been by that stadium, and that stadium is huge from the outside. It looks amazing. But yeah, hold it at the football stadiums. That's something that they do down here regularly, and if they'll do it down here when it's almost 100 degrees, 95 degrees, they could easily do it up there. You don't have any problem with seating. And in fact, there's this one school north of Dallas to where the football stadium seats 18,000, holds 20,000, and they graduate about anywhere from 6,500 to 7,000 students a year. And everyone walks across the stage, and everyone's name gets said. And you don't have to worry about you got to be quiet so everyone can hear the name. They got it in a football stadium, so you can hear it regardless of who's hooping and hollering and carrying on. But it is something else. And there's several football stadiums around here that they can do it in an outdoor venue, and they have rain dates. They communicate that well in advance. If there is an issue, because during this time of year we get all this unstable weather, we get tornadoes and hail and all that. So they have contingency plans set up in there. And, so I've been to graduations like that, and I've also been to graduations here. It's a school called Prestonwood, private school that, what's his name? Randall, who plays for Minnesota Timberwolves. He came out of that school.
Okay.
And tuition is $20,000 a year, or maybe more than that now. But, essentially college tuition to go there. And they told, black folks, white folks, black folks go there too. Black folks got money. And they told folks, look, pretty much you act a fool, you're going to get escorted out. Guess who acted a fool? The white folks. And they escorted escorted dude on out when he got to hooping and hollering. You know, everyone else was respectful with their clap and everything, followed the rules. So it's what gets put in front of us so much that gets magnified. And we, collectively I'm talking about, we do tend to internalize the behavior of other folks in the community because I think in a lot of sense we have misplaced or misguided thinking that essentially if we all act right, white folks will respect us more, or white folks will accept us more. You know, respectability politics, it ain't happening. They're going to find something to not like about us or to disparage us. So it, you know, I understand it. You know, I'm sure all of us got family members who are drunks and drug addicts and everything in our family, and I'm like, yeah, that's them. You know, yeah, we don't go over to cousin Ray Ray's house because we know some foolishness gonna jump off. You know, he's still family, but yeah, there's only certain events where I'm gonna be seeing the cousin Ray Ray because I know telling who he got chasing after him. But yeah, let's see. Oh, you're talking about that. B-Ray brought up that case about the man who shot the teenagers.
Yeah, and I'm not familiar with the case at all.
It happened in Spotsville. What do they call it? It's called Spotsylvania County, Virginia. I have no idea where that is. Maybe that's next to the county that Blade lives in. But it happened at 3:00 in the morning. The man's name, 27-year-old, his name is Tyler Butler. He was charged with second-degree murdering and malicious wounding using a firearm in the commission of a felony, is what they say here. But a lot of it is concealed. But happened at 3:00 in the morning, and what they said happened is that these kids went to a different neighborhood, and they were 18, 17, 18, so juniors and seniors, went to a different neighborhood, and not only did they ring the doorbell, they were kicking on the door, banging on the door, banging on the garage door, and that neighborhood, that community had had several burglaries before. So, and they called it Ding Dong Ditch, is what they called the game. But they don't have details on when he did the shooting. Did he shoot through the door? Did he go outside and chase them or whatever? But one of the dudes got winged and the other ones got. So, maybe in a little while, next few months, we'll hear more of the details. But yeah, they did charge him with murder, but I don't know the stand your ground laws there in Virginia or any of the details. And there's a lot still left out of that. So that's what I have there.
Again, I understand being afraid somebody trying to break in your house, but that is stuff like that, which is why you can't just blindly shoot through, a door.
Yeah, and that's what until we hear all the details and with it coming from different areas, I could easily see how he panicked if he shot through the door or if he went out after them or whatever the case may be. But yeah, so it's a bunch of different factors that led him to shoot.
Okay.
But the last thing you brought up a couple of weeks ago about those albums that you could play beginning to end. Mm-hmm. Did we mention Keith Sweat Make It Last Forever album?
Yes, somebody did mention Keith Sweat. Yes, Make It Last
Forever.
Okay,
and I just had to go back through and look at the entire. Because it only had 8 songs on it, but you started with Something Just Ain't Right, A Right and a Wrong Way, which I wish you'd have came up with a better opening line, you may be young, but you're ready. Man, but after that, the song is fire, absolute fire. Tell Me It's, I don't know, that was this one. Tell Me It's Me You Want. I don't remember that one off the top. But then you have the I Want Her, Make It Last Forever, In the Rain, How Deep Is Your Love, and then ending with, to me, is the most underrated song on there. It's his up-tempo song, Don't Stop Your Love. Now, artists would love to have that many hits throughout their entire career, and he came out the gate with all of them bangers. So,
yeah, that's a good one.
So that one I can listen all the way through. Now I got to go back and listen to Tell Me It's Me You Want. I don't remember that song off the top.
I don't remember it either.
the rest of them definitely. So, but I think that's all I got. I'm feeling much better now. Oh, and I forgot to mention at Tuskegee. Now, did you graduate from Alabama State?
I didn't graduate, no.
Okay. Well, typically, for HBCUs, Mother's Day is the graduation day. And my mom came down, my auntie and uncle came down, and they were asking me, Brent, what time should we be there? I think the graduation started at 11. I'm like, y'all better be up and ready to go at 8:30. They're like, what? I'm like, look, y'all get up, y'all get ready. I got them there at 9 o'clock. They got to see where they wanted to sit, and even met a couple of my professors and everything. And don't you know, it was 11:15, and there was folks, grannies and grandmamas and everyone outside couldn't get in because the basketball arena was filled to capacity, and folks was pissed. But even with all the folks being pissed, guess what? There were no fights. There were no fights at all. But Black HBCU graduates are something different, and it was great being there. My diploma, once I got it, I just handed it to my mom. But I do have a copy that me and my wife, we both read it there, that we keep in the office and everything. Okay. But I tell all my nieces and nephews, don't send me your high school invitation. High school is something you're supposed to do. Now, if you graduate from college, you graduate from nail school, or culinary, whatever other, post-high school, then go ahead and send me an invitation. And if I can't make it, I'm going to shoot you some money. But that's because for them, for our family and everything, that's understood. Yes, you are going to graduate high school.
Right.
And, we know what, grandparents and parents and everything have done in order to get us even to the point to where we are then. So, there was no question about, are you going to graduate from high school or not? But, I understand that that's not the same,
right? Exactly.
Especially in other states, like with North Carolina, where my wife was in education there, where I think they said like 48% of the students didn't graduate high school. And I was like, no way in the world that could be true. And my wife was like, no, that's true. And you get to some of these smaller communities and rural areas, and then combine it with, even some of the big cities, man, there are a lot of people, unfortunately, who do not graduate for one reason or another, which, is mind-boggling to me. But, just because it's mind-boggling to me doesn't make me not accept what's there. So,
right. Yeah, one of my best friends did not graduate high school. Like, he dropped out of school, and the idea of it just blew my mind. Like, what do you mean you dropped out of school? And I mean, I'm in school, you know what I'm saying? And he like, I don't go to school no more. I dropped out. Like, what do you do? I don't even understand that. Like, for real, my mind couldn't comprehend. So you wake up and you just don't go to school. How? How do you do that? Like, but for him, it was just a thing.
Yeah, and then there just wasn't an option in our home. You going to school, you going to make good grades. Yeah. You ain't got a choice. So, because mom would probably be singing, for the 9 months I carried you. Yeah, mama. I'll get these grades and make you proud. And then college was, more about me than about her. But, she still loves it even to this day, and, appreciates and looks at her children. That's a source of pride. With all of her children, she gave them all the opportunity to go to college. Not all of us graduated, but she gave us the opportunity, and that was her goal. It was up for us to carry that ball, across the graduation stage. But that's all I got.
All right. Hey, I appreciate your call.
All right. Take it easy.
All right. Leave. Okay, hold on a second. Hold on a second. Go here, scroll down. All right. All right, since Brent brought it up, since Brent brought it up, and he gonna give the track listing for Keith Sweat. You know, I had to get a track listing for mine. Guy's first project, track number 1, Groove Me. Track number 2, Teddy's Jam. Track number 3, Don't Clap, Just Dance. Track number 4, You Can Call Me Crazy. Track number 5, Piece of My Love. Track number 6, I Like. Track number 7, Round and Round. Track number 8, Spend the Night. Track number 9, Goodbye Love. And track number 10, My Business. I don't skip any of those songs when I'm listening to that project. Not a single one. Not a single one. That whole project was amazing. And here's one that I don't think anybody mentioned, and then I'm done with it. I'll Be Sure, In Effect Mode. Nobody mentioned, I don't remember anybody mentioning I'll Be Sure, In Effect Mode. I think it might be one on here. Track number 1, Night and Day. And y'all know that. Track number 2, Ooh, This Love Is So Hot. Track number 3, Killing Me Softly. Track number 4, Naturally Mine. Track number 6, Rescue Me. Track number 7, Off on Your Own, Girl. That was 6. It was Off on Your Own. Track number 7, If I'm Not Your Lover. Track number 8 is the one that I'm like, Just a Taste of Lovin'. I'm not even familiar with that song. And then track number 9 is Night and Day in Spanish. Bro, that's a hot album. That is a hot album. It's only one of them songs where I'm like, I don't remember that song. It's another one. You can just put it on and just listen. You got, every once in a while, you got a few what I call almost perfect albums. Of course, nobody mentioned Thriller, but you don't even have to mention Thriller. I mean, it's Thriller. It's Thriller. You don't have to mention Thriller. But yeah, now that, and all of them was kind of touched by that whole Teddy Riley, New Jack stuff. E-Man, you got me blocked. Oh no, I'm sorry. Sorry, Ken. I shut down the little phone thing. Let me open it back up. Because, if I don't shut it down, it'll start all that static and stuff. So, all right, it's back up. Ken, sorry about that. Ken, you can call in. Shannon C says, I'll Be Sure was okay. Whether or not but I'm just saying that almost that whole album was just, as they say, fire. Daryl says the entire Troop album. You talking about Attitude? Hold on, let me look it up. Let's see the track listing for that. Ken.
Emanuel, what's happening?
Hey, what's happening?
I believe you had me blocked, but I'll go ahead and accept your excuse, man. I noticed you ain't been mentioning my name on my text, but okay, I understand.
I read a few of them.
Yeah. But I was trying to cut my grass to get myself ready. My son coming up with his family bringing the grandkids.
All right.
And I'm trying to cut this grass. I got a half acre and trying to get in between the rain, man, to cut it. So I still got a little ways to go, but I had to come in. Okay, I heard you talking about the graduation with the kids.
Yes.
Once again, man, we're going to have family members that's going to be a little inappropriate at the function, and unfortunately they taken away the joy and excitement of the kid that's on stage by the way they act.
Agreed.
In the stage.
Well, I
And
partially agree. Yes.
so, yeah, and so you know, I'm 57, man. You know, I got 5 grandkids, and I watched my kids graduate from high school, and 2 of them went to college and graduated. And Brett Beard was right. You know, high school graduation is now a gimme. They passing out graduation certificates now. You really don't have to put in a lot of work to get that. Just showing up. And school is so much of a social thing, I don't know why kids ain't going. You agree with that?
Not really.
Say what?
I don't necessarily agree that kids don't have to put in work to graduate from high school. I think there are situations that, you know, where they do that social promotion and all of that kind of stuff. But I don't necessarily agree that high school is not work. I do think it's, when I say a given, I don't think they're just giving out high school diplomas. I mean, in my household, in my family, it was accepted. You're graduating high school, and then what? It wasn't, if you graduate high school, then what you're going to do. It was, once you graduate high school, what do you want to do? So that's what I mean when I say it was a given.
I think they're passing it out, especially the athletes. I mean, how many times have we heard these athletes after the sport is over with, we find out that they're not as I won't say intelligent, but they're not at the level they should have been because of their schooling and being pushed through. That happens, man.
I do agree that it happens with athletes in particular. You know, a lot of athletes ain't that bright anyway.
Watch it, man. I'm a former athlete. Watch it.
I didn't say all. I said a lot, and
I know.
Yeah, you know you got to agree with me. Most of your teammates was not smart people.
You got a point there, yeah. And just because things went in their way, wherever it was, in the football, basketball, baseball, whatever, they kind of got pushed through there, man.
Yeah, but that's not all. You know what I'm saying? It's some brilliant dudes who play sports, you know. But probably the majority of them ain't smart. So that does happen, but I don't think that's, you know, the rule. I think that's the exception.
Another thing, the fighting in the stands. You know, there are grandparents in that stand that have walkers and canes. And one day I may be, you know, in the stands with a walker or a cane or something. I hope, you know, I'm not. I hope I'm upright and, you know, able to get up and down them steps and wherever I got to go to be seated. But those people probably was in the middle of all that stuff when those kids was acting up. I don't know. I ain't seen the video. I don't watch that kind of stuff. But those grandparents are there in those stands celebrating their grandchildren. And unfortunately, they could be casual, what do you call it, casual damage or something like that?
Collateral damage, yeah.
Collateral damage, yeah. What else you done talked about? Oh, going to, you know, somebody on there mentioned going different places where parties and stuff take place, you know, and you mentioned not all of us get into skirmishes where we are at. And that is true. And the more sophisticated, more mature places you go, the less you have to worry about that. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I'm born and raised in English Woods, so I know about house parties and the rec party, going to the fair, their rec party. There was always a fight there. Always. You know, that's just what it was, man. That environment, that situation was always a fight. You know, you walk outside your house, you fought. You walk to the store, you fought. You walked in the store, you fought. When you got out of the store, you fought. It was just what it was. That was that type of mentality.
Okay, that might be slightly hyperbolic, but I didn't live in that situation.
You get my point. Don't be literal with me. You get my point.
That's why I said that was slightly hyperbolic, but I didn't live in that situation, so I you know, I can't say necessarily. So
yeah, well, it was in the, you know, that crack era in the times in the 70s and 80s, you know, and we even had a few white people in that in the community at that time.
Okay.
Yeah. It was probably a white community at one time until, we began to start moving in, and they eventually, how they move out when we move in.
That does happen from time to time. Yeah.
Yeah. What else you had? What else you talked about?
That's really about it. I didn't even
Okay.
get
What?
into because I wanted to read some of this transcript from the P Diddy trial. Some of the stuff that Cassie said. I didn't even get a chance to get into that.
Yeah, I tell you, man, it's a mess. She's pregnant. So who is she pregnant by? If he been in jail, is that his kid or what? What's going on
No,
there?
no. I believe she's married. She ain't been with him for a while. Remember what
Yeah.
was it? 2023. She sued him. So yeah, they
Oh,
haven't
okay.
been together for a while.
I tell you, man, it's just everything on that whole subject is a mess, man. And I'm glad it's getting exposed, man. And there's other people out there that's doing the same thing, and they have that mentality. It won't happen to me. But what's in the dark will be shined in the light, or something like that. It says, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
I don't know, man. I don't get into it.
Hey,
That should be it. Go ahead.
I appreciate the call, man. I hope you enjoy the heck out of the kids and the grandkids. And
Yeah,
just
man. This is
had a time of
a
your life.
big moment.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. This is a big moment for my son to bring my grandkids to me, and we all sit down at my house. His girlfriend and the 3 kids, they never been here before, so I'm trying to get it cleaned up and prepped and ready for them. So we're gonna have a good time for this weekend. It's the start of many years to come.
All right. Now, well, hold on. I'm gonna ask you a question. You don't, of course, have to answer. Have you and your son been estranged?
No, man. He graduated from Whit Woods, man. When he was 7 years old, his mother and his sister and my mother, his sister and him, when my daughter graduated from high school in South Carolina, she moved up to live with me in Forest Park. And I had her going to Cincinnati State and Cincinnati UC. And then my son, when he turned 7, he moved up with me. And he graduated from Forest Park. So they are familiar with me. All my kids, I had custody of 3 of my kids, my 2 sons and my daughter, and then the other 2, they came to stay with me from time to time.
Okay. But it's been a minute since you've seen this one.
No.
Okay.
When I left Cincinnati, they helped me move. They helped me move to Virginia. I ran it by them. They agreed on it, and then they helped me move here. And then my son moved to South Carolina to be with his mother. I got 3 kids that are originally from Cincinnati, and they helped me move too. So they come to me now. I was traveling back up there every month and a half, but I cut that out. That 12-hour drive was too rough on me. I got 2 hip replacements,
Okay.
and I got this dog here. It's just too much on me. So I said, listen, y'all come to me. I'll help y'all get here, and we can enjoy it that way, because I can't do that.
Okay.
But my son's in South Carolina.
Yeah, I thought that you had said this was maybe the first time in a while that he had brought the grandkids to your house there. So, that was.
Yeah, it is. They're small. Yeah, this is the first time they're coming up, but he's came up here and stayed with me a summer, and they're coming to visit, and hopefully they can stay a lot longer and hang out and do things. So they are making their way here. This is like headquarters, just like it was up there in Forest Park.
Okay. Well, I'm excited for you, man. That's it. I'm just excited for you.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Things is going good, bro.
All right. Hey, man, take it easy. Have a good time.
All right. Hey, make sure you unblock me. And when you read my text, just acknowledge that who wrote the text, bro. That's all I ask.
I do my best.
And then and the other opposition defiant stuff that you can kick back in with the other callers.
All right.
All right, man. Good talking to you, bro.
All right. Have a good one. All right. That was Ken. Okay, I'm looking at this track list for the Attitude album by Troop Project. This Attitude Project, this ain't that fire. You know what I'm saying? This ain't that hot. My music, I remember my music. It was okay. That's my attitude. It was okay. I'm not souped. Okay. My love, I don't even remember my love. Spread my wings. Okay. All I do is think of you. Okay. I will always love you. Another lover for you. I'm skipping 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm skipping 4 of the 9 songs. Yeah, I'm skipping 4 of the 9. I'm not saying, you know what I'm saying? It might be, like, yo, that's my jam. But for me, I'm skipping 4 of the 9. It's not a perfect album to me. But that's just me. That's just me. I bet you, though, if when it came out, I just listened to the whole thing, I would think it was hot. I would think it was hot if I had just listened to the whole thing. Sorry, twin. You already called in. He was on for a while. But hey, everybody got a right to their opinion. Everybody got a right to their opinion. E-Man, start saying our first and last names like Lincoln does. I don't even know what that means. I don't know what that means. Every time he read my comments, I should have looked at the name. You don't say my first and last name. You don't say mine at all. Yeah, this hold on, where is it? No. Yes. Hold on a second. He might need help. He don't need no help. He don't need no help. He just want to fuss at me and cuss me out. He want to fuss at me and cuss me out. I have to protect myself. But yeah, no, I was gonna read some of this stuff, some of this Cassie stuff, the transcript, in terms of what was said. For all y'all like, ooh, she wanted it. Ooh, she wanted it. Ooh, she wouldn't have stayed if she didn't want it. She is saying on here, in no uncertain terms, I didn't want it. I didn't like it. I told him I didn't want it. I told him I didn't like it. I think they even read an email where she basically told him, I don't want to do this. I could be mistaken that, the email part. I know they read an email, but I'm fairly certain she even, in corresponding with him, even via email, like, I don't want to do this. But she didn't want him to be mad, and she loved him, so she wanted to make him happy, but she didn't want to do it. I heard victim blaming all day today, and I was so disappointed. I was so disappointed. Cassie says, within the first year of our relationship, Sean proposed to me this idea, this sexual encounter that he called voyeurism, where he watched me in sexual activity with a third party, specifically another man. It entails the hiring of an escort and setting up this experience so that I could perform for Sean. It involves Sean being able to watch me with the other person and actually direct us on what we were doing sexually. These are all direct quotes from her testimony. Sometimes he himself, or he would have the escort urinate on me. There was no conversation. It was a turn on for him, so it happened. She said it was humiliating. humiliating as anyone was there to see it. She says it was disgusting. It was too much, overwhelming. In an indication of the procedure, she says she was choked and, quote, I was laid. She didn't want this. She didn't want this. How are people blaming the victim? I don't understand it. Not to mention, and I mean, different people, I guess different people like different stuff. I don't understand how peeing on somebody is sexually gratifying to a person. But that's just different people like different stuff. But oh my goodness. She didn't want this. Y'all stop blaming the victims in this. She had, because I can't go through the whole transcript. Let me see if I can find the part. I want to find a part about her record deal. The record deal came up in day 2. It's a lot. I can't find it. But basically, he had control over this girl at the time. I guess technically she was a woman, but she was like 20, 22 or something like that. To me, that's a little girl. I know some 22-year-olds probably feel disrespected. I ain't no girl. I'm a woman. You a girl. Oh, I keep freezing. Okay. Sorry, y'all. Maybe we'll get to it tomorrow. Something's going on with the stream. All right. Jerica says, don't use y'all. It's a few who are. Not all of us. Agreed. I should not have said y'all as if it was everybody. But okay, something's going on with the stream. I don't know exactly what's happening. I'm gonna go ahead and sign out. We'll talk about this tomorrow and read some Constitution. Okay. I want everybody to enjoy the rest of the evening. And as always, hold on, I gotta get the screen ready. As always, be the reason that somebody smiles today. Till next time, I'm out, y'all. Peace.